The Angels take on the Tigers, 1:10 p.m. Eastern start time. The LA Angels are minus $1.20, totals 9.5. Detroit's plus $1 for some money line cash. And if you like them on the run line, they're minus 150, catching the 1.5. Matt Manning starting for the Tigers, Jose Quintana for Los Angeles. And following a 4-1 day in my premium sports picks on BrockPage.com yesterday, we also improved to 11-1 in our last 12, $1.99 daily best plays on that very same website. Now, if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. That's BrockPage.com. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 20 extra daily picks on that very same website. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. Now, we currently have over 825 members who are signed up and active on that site. And once again, if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. That's BrockPage.com. Now, the Angels' Jose Quintana, he's yet to get a win on this season. He's currently 0-3 with a 6.12 ERA and a 1.70 whip. The Angels have lost 5 out of their last 9 ball games, and they also have a losing record on the road. LA's pitching staff is in the bottom 10 in runs allowed. They're taking on a Detroit club who's got themselves a winning record at Comerica Park. They're also led by Jonathan Schoop, who's batting .284, along with 66 RBI. Now, pitcher Matt Manning, he's also got himself 3 wins and just over 48 innings of work. And when it comes to the total in this one, Detroit 61% to the under against the American League at home. Meanwhile, the Angels have gone 30-22 to the under in their road games against American League opponents themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Detroit Tigers plus $1 in the under 9.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Orioles versus the Rays, 1:10 p.m. East. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus 370, totals 9. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Jorge Lopez for Baltimore. Now, Lopez is a dismal 3-13 with a 6.14 ERA and a 1.65 whip. The righties also walked 52 batters. The last place Orioles now officially have the worst record in Major League Baseball. They're 43 games below 500, and they have a win percentage of just .319. They also allow more runs per contest than any other team in the majors. Baltimore's lost 14 straight ball games. They're taking on a first-place Tampa club who's on a 3-game winning streak themselves, 7-3 straight up in their last 10. And this Tampa Bay lineup is one of the best in baseball scoring-wise. Brandon Lowe's hit 28 home runs and knocked in 70. He's currently 9th in the league in home runs. Meanwhile, Austin Meadows, he's 9th in the majors in RBI with 81 of them. Tampa Bay is officially in the top 3 in scoring on average per game. Meanwhile, pitching-wise, Shane McClanahan, is 7-4 with a 3.73 ERA, along with 105 strikeouts. This Tampa Bay pitching staff allows only 3.2 runs a game at the Trop. And when it comes to the total in this one, Tampa's 28-25 to the under against American League competition at Tropicana Field. Give me the Rays minus 1.5 in the under 9. Next game, Mariners-Rangers, 2:05 Eastern Standard Time. Seattle's minus 150, totals 8.5. Chris Flexen for Seattle, Spencer Howard for Texas. Now, Howard's yet to get a win, with his new ball club here. He's 0-3 with a 5.61 ERA and a 1.46 whip. The last place Rangers are 36 games below 500, and they score only 3.8 runs a game at Globe Life Field. They're taking on a Seattle club who won 6 out of their last 7, and they rank in the top 10 in fewest walks allowed per 9. Chris Flexen's 10-5 on the season, 3.78 ERA, 85 strikeouts. Seattle's 7-3 to the under in their last 10, 4-0 to the under in their last 4 on the road. The Rangers on the other side. 35-26 to the under at Globe Life Field. Give me the Mariners minus 150 in the under 8.5. Next game, Astros Royals 210 East. Houston's minus 165. Totals 9. Luis Garcia for the Stros. Mike Minor for Kansas City. Miners got 11 losses on the season. 5.35 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. Despite playing Houston very well in the series, Kansas City still finds themselves in the bottom 5 in hits allowed. Meanwhile, offensively, Kansas City's in the bottom 10 in scoring on average per game. Now they're taking on a first-place Houston club who leads the majors in runs and hits. Michael Brantley's batting a league-leading .325 at the plate. Meanwhile, Jordan Alvarez has an OPS of .873. He's batted in 77. Meanwhile, pitching-wise, Houston allows only 3.9 runs a game. Luis Garcia's 9-6 with a .330 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. He's also fanned 134 batters in just over 111 innings of work. Total-wise, Houston's 34-26 to the over when they bat first. Kansas City's 32-30 to the over at Kauffman Stadium. Give me the Houston Astros minus 165 and the over 9. Next game, A's White Sox 2:10 p.m. East. Chicago's minus 165, numbers 9. Dylan Cease for Chicago, Cole Irvin for Oakland. Now, Irvin's got 8 wins on the year, .352 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. He also has 96 strikeouts. Oakland allows only 3.7 runs a game when they travel. Their pitching staff is also in the top 3 in fewest walks allowed per game. They're taking on a White Sox club who failed to cash in on the run line in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. They're also just 2-4 against the number in their last 6 at Guaranteed Rate Field. These Sox hitters are in the bottom half of the league and striking out at the plate. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Chicago's 35-25 to the under against American League competition at home. Meanwhile, the A's are 33-19 to the under in their road games against the American League as well. I'm going to lean toward the Oakland A's plus 1.5 and the over 9. Next ball game, Phillies Diamondbacks 340 East. The Phillies are minus 195. Totals 8.5. Wheeler for the Fightins. Bumgarner for the D-backs. The Mad Bum's got himself 88 strikeouts. The lefty's also coming into today's contest with a 1.15 WHIP. Arizona's won 5 out of their last 6 ball games. 2 of those victories coming against Philadelphia, by the way. And as a matter of fact, they've held the Fightins to just 4 total runs thus far in this series. Arizona's cashed in on the run line in nearly 60% of their contests at Chase Field. And surprisingly, the Diamondbacks are currently in the top 10 in the league in home hits. Now they're taking on a Phillies club who lost 6 out of their last 8 ball games. And, well, they simply don't play all that well on the road. They're only 25-34 straight up when they travel. And if you're a math guy, that's good for just 42% in that particular category. And as good as Zach Wheeler has been this year, this Phillies pitching staff is in the bottom 10 in hits allowed on the road. Now, they're also striking out only 8.1 batters a game when they travel as well. And that is certainly not atop of the rankings in Major League Baseball there. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Philadelphia is 32-27 to the over away from their home field. Meanwhile, Arizona's 37-25 to the over at Chase Field. I'm going to lean toward the Arizona Diamondbacks plus 1.5 and the over 8.5. Next matchup, Twins Yankees 7:05 Eastern start time. The New York Yankees are minus 260, totals 10.5. Jameson Taillon for New York, John Gant for Minnesota. Now, Gant's just 4-6 on the year, 1.53 WHIP, 58 walks through just 85 innings. The Minnesota Twins are winning just 41% of their road games. This Minnesota pitching staff's also in the bottom 3 in runs allowed. They're taking on a red-hot Yankees club who is on a 6-game winning streak, and they hold their opponents to only 7.1 hits a game on their home field. New York's also giving up just 3.7 runs a game at Yankee Stadium. Jameson Taillon's 7-4 with a 3.89 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. The righties also got 116 strikeouts on the season. And number-wise, 3 out of New York's last 4 home games stayed under the line. They're also 30-21 to the under against the American League at home as well. I'm going to lean toward the New York Yankees -1.5 and the under 10.5 runs. Next ball game, Marlins Reds 7:10 East. Cincinnati's -230, numbers 8.5. Luis Castillo for Cincinnati, Zach Thompson for Miami. Thompson's just 2-5 on the year. The last place Marlins are 19 games below 500. They score only 3.9 runs a game when they travel. They also lost their last 3 straight, and they gave up 25 total runs during that span. They're taking on a Cincy club who won 4 out of their last 7, and they rank in the top 5 in hits. Now, Nick Castellanos, he's batting .313, which is 5th in the majors. The outfielder is also 10th in the league with a .933 OPS. Meanwhile, Joey Votto's hit 26 home runs and knocked in 76. The first baseman's 8th in the league with a .944 OPS as well. And of course, Luis Castillo, he's on the hill here tonight. He struck out 138 batters in just over 137 innings of work. Now, total-wise, Cincinnati's 32-22 to the over against National League opponents at home. Meanwhile, the Marlins went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves, 3-1 to the over in their last 4 on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Cincinnati Reds -1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. Next matchup, Brewers Cardinals 7:45. The Brewers are -$2, totals 8. Brandon Woodruff for Milwaukee, John Lester for St. Louis. Now Lester's got a .675 ERA through 16 innings of work with his new club. The lefty's also got himself a 1.75 WHIP with St. Louis, of course. The Cards have lost their last 2 straight, with both of those losses coming against Milwaukee. This Cardinals lineup has also really struggled at the plate this year. They're scoring only 3.8 runs a game at Busch Stadium. They're taking on a first-place Brewers club who's 27 games above 500. And they also got the W in 8 out of their last 9. Milwaukee also plays their best baseball on the road. They're currently 42-20 straight up when traveling. And they've also cashed in on the run line in over 67% of those road games. Simply incredible. That is a great run line cashing percentage there. Now, the Brewers allow the fewest runs per game on the road in the league. They're holding their opponents only 3.2 runs a game away from their home field. Brandon Woodruff also has 7 wins on the year, along with a .218 ERA and a .90 WHIP. The righties fanned 163 batters in just over 140 innings of work. And when it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee went 60% to the under in their last 10. 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. 33-26 to the under in their divisional games. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are 35-24 to the under in their games at Busch Stadium. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Brewers -1.5 and the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup. It is going to be Mets versus the Dodgers, 10:10 East. The LA Dodgers are -180, totals 9.5. No confirmed starter yet for Los Angeles. Taijuan Walker for the Mets. Despite some really good stuff out of Walker this season, the Mets have been pretty bad on the road. They've won just 24 out of 61 road games. That's good for just 39% in that category. This New York lineup is also averaging only 3.8 runs a game. They took the loss in 5 out of their last 6 contests. Now they're taking on a red-hot Dodger club who's on a 6-game winning streak themselves. And they also got the W in 10 out of their last 11. LA's winning over 66% of their contests at Dodger Stadium. Their pitching staff's also leading the league in strikeouts. They're holding their opponents to only 6.8 runs a game. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of LA's last 10 ball games stayed under the line. 3-1 to the under in their last 4 at home. Meanwhile, the Mets are 3-1 to the under in their last 4 when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 180 and the under 9.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick what do we call that again? The quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are coming fresh off a 4-1 day. My 5 premium sports picks on that website. I'm going to lean toward the Detroit Tigers plus $1 under 9.5. Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5 under 9 runs. I also like Seattle minus $1.50 under 8.5. Houston minus 165 over 9. Oakland A's plus 1.5 over 9 runs. Arizona plus 1.5 over 8.5. I'm also leaning toward the New York Yankees minus 1.5 under 10.5 runs. Cincinnati minus 1.5 over 8.5. Milwaukee minus 1.5 under 8. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 11-1 in our last 12 $1.99 daily best plays on my brockpage.com website. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 20 extra daily picks on that very same site. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 180 and the under 9.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that goes to Blaine Medvick, who said yesterday, sounds like the purge is happening on your street outside. And of course, that was a reference to 3 or 4 police cars going by my house, and it was super loud. Couldn't even hear myself think. And I think when they drove by, it was tough to hear me too. It was very loud. So anyway, Blaine, certainly an astute observation, and thank you for taking the time to comment. Now, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website at brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today, you are going to get access to that content all the way through the end of August. I always tell folks, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. But if you want to make it easier, you can also type in brockpage.com.